The crux of this dism that was sung, and many of you, because you all know the Urdu language, to a great extent you would have picked up, it's got to do with Be Parda Haseen. Be Parda Haseen means the pretty girl who took out the parda. It is the nature of man that once a girl puts on parda, man wants to know who's behind the parda. It can be one old auntie also. But because she's covered, the man just wants to know who's she. That is the nature of man. It is called al-insanu harisun fima muni'a. What man can't get, he only wants. But when that auntie took out the parda, if she was an old auntie at that time, at least your heart would have got sukoon, that there's nothing much here. But if it was a pretty face, and today every face is a pretty face. The reason is because makeup, it's called makeup, which means it made you up. Makeup means you're not that. So example, if that auntie got freckles, if she got wrinkles, if she's really old, it is the makeup that makes her look unique. So you're walking in an airport and you think, if only my wife can look like her. But she doesn't look like that. She doesn't look like that. But as soon as the eye fell, it never fell on her, it fell on the makeup. So he fell in love. Be parda hasino se hua tang zamana. He says, time has become very hard. Because when my eye fell, I became like that cat. One cat walked into the place of a man who works with metal. So you got something called a file. And the edge of that file is very rough. It's like the thing that we use to grate our cheese. So if you don't know how to grate the cheese properly, sometimes you cut your hand also. So the file never do anything, it just lied on the ground. But because the file was shining, it had makeup. Because of the shine of the file, the cat decided to see what's happening. There was nothing. But because the file had a shine, that auntie on the road got a shine today. That's all. But she's not that shine. It was one makeup shot and she became a shining farishta, angel. But at night when her husband wakes up, she hasn't got that makeup. Then he doesn't see an angel, he sees a devil. Her husband faces the other side whole night. How many women complained at night, my husband sleeps with the phone in his hand. As soon as he gets in the bed, he faces the other way. And an hour or 2 hours go and he will watch some filthy movie and then he'll fall asleep. But that same woman, when she walks on the road the next day, 10 men will be looking at her and saying, I wish she could have been my wife. Because he's not looking at her, he's looking at the makeup. There was that blink, there was that flash, there was that smart look. So the cat decided to lick. That's all. It's the same mistake that me and you are making on that phone today. The girl looks smart, she looks unique. Sometimes she got no look. There are those boys who I say to them that when the girl is messaging you, she doesn't always look as good as she sounds. She doesn't always look as good as she sounds. So some of my friends, they took the wrong meaning. I told them stop. They were not going to stop. So they said to the girl, I want to see you. Send me a picture. Even in the picture the girl lied. Even in the picture. Whether she sent her picture or her sister's picture. He said, when I saw her at the club, it wasn't her. It wasn't her. It's a lie. It's a lie. And in that lie, marriages have broken. In that lies, people have lost their iman. Everything is a lie. The cat decided, I wonder what it will be to lick the file. It looks so smart. A cat is ready to lick anything. But when the cat made the first lick, it was the blood of the cat that was going to come out. So as that tongue went over the file was rough. So the cat noticed that there's now red. But the red never came from the file, it came from the cat. The day this eye falls on a girl, you will start bleeding. Sometimes that girl doesn't even know you in love with her. Sometimes she doesn't know. And the other happens. Sometimes a girl falls so in love with a boy, so in love, but the boy says, I'm just playing games. I'm messing around. She is dying for him, dying. He's laughing about the game. This world is a world of haram, but it's a world of evil. There's treachery on both sides. It is filth and dirt. As the cat licked, it saw blood. So the cat said that let me just clean up the blood. So it took its second lick. On the second lick, the blood was not going to go, more blood was going to come. How many have said, I will only meet her once. Only one meeting. But that one meeting never ended. He started bleeding after that, bleeding after that, bleeding. With every lick that the cat made, more blood came out. Every person says, it's the last time I'm going to see her today. Today I'm going to block her. The girl says, today is the last. In this world of haram, it's so unique that the messages that each party is saying, they're sending messages of Islam also. The girl will start the message that, this relationship we got is haram. She'll start the message like that. And then for 3 hours they'll carry on talking. 3 hours. And it'll end on, this thing is haram, it must stop. And they'll carry on tomorrow again. They'll start on haram, it will end on haram. In between, the boy will give his own masala also. He'll say that, no, if I'm interested in marrying you, it's allowed. That I can't talk with you, I can't meet with you, I must know who you are. Whole masala will start. Haram, haram, haram. Hours and hours at night. But the unique thing is the man who was not married, we would have felt, hey, this boy is not married, he's just playing a game. Today, the man who's married, the cat who got cheese there in his house, he's also licking. He got it all. He's been fed by the master. He's been given the rat, he's been given the food, he's been given whatever he wants. But that cat also went for the file. As the cat licked and the cat licked, the file was not going to get clean. When man falls in haram, sending the next message is not going to pull us out of haram. Someone needed to come and tell the cat, get out. If the cat ran bleeding, that blood would still one day have dried and the cat would have been saved. But if no one stopped the cat would have licked until there would have been no tongue left. And the cat would have died next to the fire. Thousands have died in haram, thousands are dying at the moment. When this WhatsApp came on the phone, it opened a new world. A world people never dreamt about. That zina, adultery, filth, games will be so easy. So easy, so easy. There was a time when they said have a youth program. But they said we'll have it at a certain age, that boys under this age, they don't know about this girl story. So some of those boys were told, you all can't come for the bayan, you all don't know about girls. They said, uncle, we know about girls more than you. They know it all. When WhatsApp came, it introduced them to a world. That phone took them to a world of the internet which you never dreamt about. They saw it all. They saw it all. They saw it all. It was the unique thing of Islam that was going to teach certain things that Google was not going to teach now. What happened? They got together in school, 2 boys. When we were small, it was known that don't speak to your child about marriage. Don't speak to him about babies. Don't speak to him about what happens. Don't speak. Because there was no Google. So for years a mother could have told a child whenever he asked her, Mommy, where I came from? For years, my own mother, I remember she used to tell me and she used to laugh. She used to say there was one bird that was flying, one stork. And it had you in a bundle and it dropped and I caught you. And I believed it. There was no Google. I believed it. Then a time came where she said that, no, I bought you from the hospital, and it ended on that. For years I believed she bought me from the hospital. Bought. I went to the hospital, there were babies. I said, I want this one. Years. Today you don't say that story. The child already knows the story. He went to school. His one friend said, you know where you came from? He doesn't know, he's shy, so he won't go ask his father. He will go ask Google. But when he presses that button, Google is not going to show the truth. Google will take him in such a lie, such a lie, such a lie, that there are boys today who say, I have reached the age of 22. If only I knew at the beginning masturbation is going to mess up my life, I would never have masturbated. Messed it up, messed it up, messed it up. But at the beginning he never have a father, he never have a friend, he never have someone to say to him that the day you get desire, don't follow what Google is telling you to do. Let me tell you what to do. So this bayan will be about the day you get desire, you all got desire. And I also got desire, we all got desire. Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahib Rahimullah was a unique wali of Allah. Before he came to Azadville, we used to think that the pious people don't get desire. It was understood that he's a sheikh, so a sheikh gets no desire. A girl can come in front of the sheikh will say, my daughter, why don't you sit on my lap and read Quran? I get no desire. We thought it like that. A sheikh, if he sees a pretty girl, nothing will happen. And if we got desire, it meant that we got no place in the front of. If at night my mind used to play around with filthy thoughts, it meant I'm filthy. That's how we thought. And there was no one who was going to tell us it's not like that. Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahib Rahimullah came to South Africa. His bayan after bayan after bayan was look after the eye. Don't look at the girl. But more than that, he would say, even I, Akhtar, have a desire to look. When he said that, we all got a shock. But it was normal, it's supposed to be. It came in the mind of the people, Molana doesn't have desire. And you'll sometimes see it. You'll sometimes see it in the maktab. The Molana tells the boy, I want to speak to your father. The boy says, my father is in the business, my mother will come. Mother comes, she makes no parda from Molana. Why? Because Molana got no desire. Molana can go in the house, in the kitchen also and say, Jazakallah, aunties, the food was tops, man. Aunties say, Molana, make dua for you. I make dua for you. Molana got no desire. No one ever thought, however, that the day Molana gets married, Sheikh got married, what he does on the first night. No one thought of it. Some people maybe thought Sheikh and Apa, when they sit on a musalla boat, put up hands, say, Allah, send one child from the heavens. Why Sheikh got married? No one thought. Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahib said, we also have desire. Then he said, Akhtar made like this. He closed his hands. He said, Akhtar suffered and he crushed his desires. He said, Akhtar crushed, he crushed, he crushed. He says, then Allah took Akhtar to where He took him. It was an eye-opener for all of us that desire is in us. Google was going to show desire is in you, give in to your desire. That file that is there, just carry on sucking, licking. No matter how much you bleed, just bleed. Bleed, bleed until you die and then die, game over. Let somebody else come and bleed. Islam was going to teach us, فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا, that my Allah put desires within me, وَتَقْوَاهَا, and my Allah put the ability in me to say no. In the whole world there is not a group of people except us who have been taught that when a pretty face walks in front, don't look. We are the only ones. And there are those that look down when a pretty girl walked past and she was shocked and she said, you're not looking at me. We are the only ones that were taught that we're going to burn with desire. Until I die, I can burn. Until I die. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, man ashiqa. Sometimes a man, a girl, whatever it is, will fall so deep in love. The highest level of love is called ishq. Ishq means I burn. Ishq means at night I think of her. Ishq means when she becomes sick, I become sick. When she comes in the house to visit, I start having an allergy. I want to go to the kitchen. I want to hear her voice. Ishq. I fell in love with that girl at school. Whenever I look in the playground, I see her. Whenever I look. When I'm driving in the car, I never saw anyone, I saw her. When shaitan shoots the arrow, he makes sure your eye will always meet with her eye. And she'll always be such a sweet girl. Always. She's so sweet. She got so good akhlaq. She's very obedient. Now she fell sick. She slipped, she broke her leg. She's in hospital, but I'm crying. She doesn't even know me. I'm more worried about her leg than my own mother's leg. My mother's leg is paining, I'm bothered. I want to know, how's Aisha? She's right, when she's coming back to school, the day she enters the school again, I get a thrill. That is called ishq. He said, man ashika, when you get that ishq, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. That's what Google taught. Google taught us the day you get the ishq, send her a message. Ask her, do you want to follow me? Ask her, you want to have a cup of tea? Ask her, you want to play a game of basketball? Ask her, can I give you a lift? And sometimes in the guise of Islam, there were those boys who, when they fell in love with a girl, on one sofa, the boy opened Riyadus Salihin. And he said, let me explain to you the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Every night he would teach her Riyadus Salihin. Every night. They never did anything. He became a ustad. Every night. She would wait for ustad to come. Every night she would sit with wuzu. In class he paid no attention. But Riyadus Salihin he paid lot attention. He never knew a word. He would ask me, what's the tarjuma of this thing? One day he told me, she asked. I said, who's she? He said, my cousin. I said, what do you mean your cousin? He said, why do you think every day I'm asking you tarjuma? He said, she's learning so well. So well she learned. In the guise of deen, what has happened in the world? In the guise of deen. Man ashika, you get gripped with that love. And how many in the world? And it is not the man who's outside the masjid who gets it. The man inside the masjid gets it. I get it, you get it, we all going to get it. Ishq is normal. Desires are normal, feelings are normal. Man just goes to a restaurant and he orders something. Whatever he orders, when it comes, he always thinks, why I never ordered that other thing. It's normal that. It's normal you get married. As soon as you get married, within a month or two, you start thinking, I think I should have married the sister. This is going to be normal. But does it mean every time you get a feeling, you give in? Every time you send a WhatsApp, every time you send a message. For every feeling, I'll say what I feel. And that's what's happening in the world. A boy got groups of girls of 10 to 12. He's messaging one, the other one is messaging him. Each one he says, you the only girl. And that girl also got 10. And she says to him, you the only boy. All of them are in this world. Chatting and messaging, chatting. Man ashika, when you get gripped with this ishq. Thumma katama. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, then you cover it. You conceal it. You hide it. You love her. You want her. You thinking of her. Dreaming of her. But you never ever tell her. You don't ever send that message. You die with that feeling. You die. I would have thought, you would have thought that if I die with that love of that girl, the first thing Allah Tabarak Ta'ala would have told me, what a person you are. You lived with the desire of haram. But we are not mukallaf by Allah. We are not going to take a task for feelings. Feelings is the blow of shaitan. We are going to be taken to task how I reacted to the feeling. If I never send the message, it meant, oh Allah, I'm not happy with that feeling. If I can die showing my Allah, I'm not happy with the feeling. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, huwa shahidun. He had ishq. He hid it. Thumma mata, he died. For huwa shahidun, he will be resurrected as a martyr. Who would have ever thought that man would be a martyr? The man himself would never have thought. At night he felt so filthy, why I like that girl. But my Allah will not take me to task for inner feelings. He was asking me, what will your reaction be? My reaction will be no. I will delete numbers. I will block. I will never answer. I might burn and I might die. The rocket that goes into the sky, before it goes, it needs to have a burst of fuel. There has to be a fire that happens at the bottom. On that explosion, a rocket reaches the heavens. Me and you will reach the arsh of Almighty Allah if we can allow ourselves in this world of fire. If we can allow an explosion to happen in us. Hazrat Shah Hakim Muhammad Akhtar Sahib, when he came at that time when there was no WhatsApp, at that time when there was no open Google, at that time he would scream and he would say, if you can look after your eye, you are the saint of the era. In today's time we understood it. You can be in the madrasa, you can be in the school, you can be in tabligh, you can be in the wherever. This girl comes everywhere. Beparda hasino se hua tang zamana. Time has become very hard. To look down has become hard. I looked down, I saw her leg. I looked up, I saw her face. I turned around, my phone rang, I looked at it, it was her again. It's only her, only her, only her. When I was driving, she was there advertising some car. She was there advertising some underwear. Wherever I looked, she was there. Time has become hard. But unique it is that Allah Tabarak Ta'ala has a system. The harder the battle becomes, the stronger the warrior becomes. The harder the battle becomes, the stronger the warrior becomes. If I can just say, oh Allah, I want to fight this. وَيَهْدِي إِلَيْهِ مَن يُنِيبُ. Almighty Allah made a promise in Quran that the one who looks at his Allah with desire, Allah opens a door for him. In this era of open fitnah, we have found people who have never put a wrong glance. In this era of fitnah, we have found girls who said, I won't do it. Even if I never get a boy, even if I never get married, even if all my friends are talking, we have found those people. When the battle becomes harder, the warrior becomes stronger. I want that I must become that warrior, you must become that warrior. But to become that warrior, we have to say to Allah, I want to be that person. We're not just going to pop out like that. It's not going to be the desire, it's just going to come out. وَيَهْدِي إِلَيْهِ مَن يُنِيبُ. The one who says to Allah, I want to be different, he becomes different. And the one who just wants to walk. The poem was long, but this was the summary of the whole poem. What I wanted to mention will end on this here. Inshallah, I will speak for about 15 minutes from now. I will take you on a journey that you will see this journey, I am seeing this journey. This was the journey which Musa alayhi salatu wasalam took with his nation, which was known as Banu Israel. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, you will walk on the road the Banu Israel walked. Like how one shoe fits on the other shoe. He said, you will take step by step on them also. He said, to such an extent that if in the Bani Israel someone had relations openly with his mother, he said, in my ummah there will be someone who will do it openly with his mother also. That openly word we could never understand in the past. Today we are understanding it. A man is having relations with someone so close to him, he's taking a picture of it. After he takes the picture, that same man sends it viral in the world. Open. The filthiest of deed, with the filthiest of person, and he's thrilled about it. Everything is on camera, everything is on picture. He said, in my ummah, time will come that he will do it with his mother also, and he'll take that thing and go viral in the world, and he'll be thrilled. As that Banu Israel left, Fir'aun chased them. Fir'aun was drowned in the water. As soon as they went past the water, وَجَاوَزْنَا بِبَنِي إِسْرَائِيلَ الْبَحْرِ. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, we took them out of Fir'aun. The journey started. This is my journey and your journey. The traps of shaitan never ended. What it was in the past, we're going to see the same. It is 3 points I'm going to take you on. 3 points we will find on a journey. If we can reach till the end, I will find the land I am promised, you are find it. Banu Israel, when they crossed the water, they were told there's a land called the promised land. You have to get there. For me and you, that promised land is Akhirat, it is Jannah. It is also being in the army of Hazrat al-Mahdi. It is holding the flag of Islam. It is seeing the Muslim armies going through the world. We have been given a promise, we just have to reach there. But on the road to reach there, we will find 3 points. I will say the points, and as we going through it, it got to do with dua to Allah. That, oh Allah, let me not get stuck at point number 1. Let me not get stuck at point number 2. Let me not get stuck at point number 3. If you can get through the 3, we gone. We made it. And it's not easy because the Banu Israel on each point, a great amount of them fell. As soon as they walked past the waters, they passed by a nation who was worshipping some idols. As they saw that idol, a group of the Banu Israel said to Musa alayhi salam, قَالُوا يَا مُوسَى اجْعَلْ لَنَا إِلَهًا كَمَا لَهُمْ آلِهَةً. That, oh Musa, why can't you make a Allah for us like how they got an Allah? It was such a thing to be said by a group who saw Fir'aun just drowned. No mind would have ever thought that someone would say that my Allah killed Fir'aun, but I want the God of Fir'aun. But they said it. They just came out of the water and they said, can't I have like what they got? The first place that many of us can get stuck, and we got stuck, is that we came out of an era, we never saw the era, it was called the era of tyranny, torture, war. The Khilafat fell. Around the world scholars were killed, madaris were closed. It was open tyranny, beards were not allowed, scarves were not allowed, burqa was not allowed. Even if a person wanted to read his salah, he was put in the prison and killed. We never saw that era. We make shukr, we crossed the waters. The army of Fir'aun collapsed. Freedom came to me, freedom came to you. Walk. But the first thing that many of us did as soon as we started walking, we said, can't I have like what they got? Can't I have what they got? I never said I want the idol. I said I want their life. Can't I have their clothing? Can't I have their hairstyle? Can't I have their watch? Can't I have their talk? Can't I have their walk? Everything what they want, can't I have it? Musa alayhi salatu wasalam said, قَالَ إِنَّكُمْ قَوْمٌ تَجْهَلُونَ. He said, you are a nation covered with ignorance. Ignorance in the past, ignorance in the future. You were created unique. You got your own talk, you got your own walk. You were the dua of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam, when he completed Masjid al-Aqsa, he made 3 du'as. One dua was, oh Allah, whoever performs salah in this masjid, oh Allah, forgive all his sins. We can get that dua if we just go to Masjid al-Aqsa. Second dua he made is, oh Allah, grant me such a kingdom that after me it will never be given to anyone else. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this dua was accepted for him. The dua meant this, that, oh Allah, you gave me such a command that whoever I ordered submitted. You gave me such a command, whatever I ordered, the people submitted, the jinn submitted. If I told them build, they built. If I told them lie down, they lied down. If I told them go up, they went up. If I told them dive into the waters, they dived into the waters. When Sulaiman alayhi salatu wassalam passed away, the jinnat went out of their way. Somehow they can get back the hukumat of Sulaiman alayhi salam. But the burst of it was our era. Some will call it the era of the shaitani power burst. Some will call it the era of the fitnah of the Dajjal. In the era we are living in, it was the burst of whatever Sulaiman alayhi salam had, we will bring it about. And we will get a kingdom which he had. If he flew in the sky, we'll fly in the sky. If he built skyscrapers, we'll put up skyscrapers. If he went diving into the waters, we will go diving into the waters. If he put up a pond with glass on top of it, we'll put it up. Whatever Sulaiman alayhi salam built, they have built today. Whatever Sulaiman alayhi salam did, they have done. But there was one thing, it was called submission. Sulaiman alayhi salatu wasalam said, "O Allah, what you have given me, let it not be given to anyone after." They have made an effort that the whole world submits to their command. They put it on television, they put it on the news, they put it on the phone. Our command is you must walk this way. The whole world said, "Yes sir, we'll walk this way." We are the dua of Sulaiman alayhi salam. We're the only ones who said we'll walk the other way. The whole world, they said you must cut your hair in a certain manner. We are the only ones who said I won't do it. They said you must show your leg to the world. It is our sisters and our daughters who said we'll cover our leg. They said you must show your hair. It is our people who said we'll cover our hair. Whatever they said, we are the only ones in the world who said we will defy. Because Sulaiman alayhi salam's dua was accepted for me and you. Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that dua was accepted till the last day. There will be group of people who will defy. We are that defying nation. We have been created unique. When they said do this, we said no. When they said jump, we said we'll stand. When they said go to the fair, we said we'll go to the masjid. When they said leave the Quran, we said we'll read the Quran. Whatever they said, we said we'll do the opposite. Because we are not that nation. When we passed the waters, we said, can't we have a life like they got a life? But one group of the Banu Israel got stuck. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala save us, we don't get stuck on that. If even inside I like the way of the Christian, even in my inside if I like the way of a certain soccer star, I like the way of a certain pop star, I like the way of a certain musician, my Allah will not take me to task for my inside as long as I don't give expression to it on the outside. I can love that player on the inside, I will not put his poster on my cupboard. I can love him on the inside, I will not wear a skipper with his name. I can love him on the inside, but I will not tell people I love him. I will rather say, "Oh Allah, my inside is not in my control, but my outside is in my control." As long as I show on the outside I don't love him, Allah, you take me according to that. So much I must do. And then I will walk. Otherwise I'm stuck on journey number 1. I am not going to reach where I'm supposed to reach. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala take us out of that. That love of Christianity or the ways of Christianity. Hazrat Molana Yusuf Rahimullah, someone said to him when the wars were starting, they said, "Hazrat Ji, make dua. Make bad dua against the Christians and the Jews. Make bad dua that Allah destroys them." Hazrat Molana Yusuf Rahimullah lifted up his hands. They said, "Make bad dua that He destroys the Nasara and the Yahud, the Christian and the Jew." He lifted up his hands and he said, "Allahumma akhrij al-yahudiyyata wal-nasraniyyata min qulubil muslimin." He said, "Oh Allah, take out the love of Christianity and the love of the way of the Jews from the hearts of the believers. We want them to fall, we want them to collapse. They're inside us. When they collapse, I'll collapse. When that musician dies, I'll get a heart attack. They're inside us. The first part of the journey, the school has taught us the love of shaitan and the love of the ways of the shayateen. The media has taught us, Google has taught us, sports has taught us, cricket has taught us. Allah Ta'ala make us, we just make that extra step. That even if that love is in me, oh Allah, I'm not going to show it anymore. I'm going to just walk. And one group walked. May Allah Ta'ala make that we all walk. The second they came, got stuck. There was a magician with Nabi Musa alayhi salam, his name was Samiri. As soon as Musa alayhi salam went to Mount Tur, he spent 40 days in Mount Tur. 40 days was all this magician needed. He had with him magical sand, he had with him something. He had with him a dua. He told Harun alayhi salam, you make dua. Harun alayhi salam made dua for something else, but the dua he had, the magical sand he had, whatever he had. He told the people, the gold that you have, put it here, they put it. And then he did something, he threw something, and in front of the eyes of the people, a golden calf was created. Magic. When the people saw that golden calf, and it moved, As it moved, it made a sound, like a moo. A normal cow made a moo, no one will worry because the golden calf made the moo. According to the Banu Israel's narrations, thousands and thousands fell in sajda immediately. Thousands fell in sajda. Me and you will say, what stupid people they were. It was just one cow. But magic was the second hurdle which was going to grab us all. How many of our friends have said that I saw him and he made the aeroplane disappear. Said I was there at that fair. And so magician came from America. The best magician in the world. Said I was standing there and in front of my eye, an aeroplane which was in the back suddenly disappeared. Houdini was famous in the past. The whole world loved Houdini. They locked him up, they chained him, they put his hands behind, they put him in one box. They threw him in the ocean. Houdini made some dua and he came out. When he came out, thousands became the lovers of that magician. Thousands. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did never say that magic can't work. He said, don't ever go to the magician. He said, never ever said that a man who tells your stories, they grab you on your hand, they'll say, let me feel. They'll say, you, tomorrow you're going to see this happening. And the next day the man sees it happening. Allah's Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam never said he's a liar. He said, don't go to the man. The reason is when we will go to them, they will show us such unique powers that can make thousands and thousands of believers fall in love with shaitan. In the past, it happened on the fair. We would tell people when you go to this musical fairs, when you go to this fun fair, when you go to the merry-ground, there'll be one tent. In the tent, there will be one sangoma, one magician, one fortune teller. You will have one nice ball. And as you enter, smoke will start going and say, I see you in the smoke. Today, amils are doing the same thing. A man walks in the house, the amil already says, this happened and that happened. When Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salam built Masjid al-Aqsa, the angel of death came to say to him, your time is up. Sulaiman alayhi salam. He made dua to Almighty Allah that for 1 year, oh Allah, the masjid is not completed. So the jinnat must not know I have passed away, otherwise they'll stop building. So a room was built for him with glass, and Sulaiman alayhi salam would stand. During the day he would look at the jinn would just see him and they would carry on building. But when Sulaiman alayhi salam passed away, he stood there with his stick. And for 1 year he remained standing. During 1 year the jinn would come in the morning and do the work until the night. For 1 year they never knew Sulaiman alayhi salam passed away. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala made that ants, termites, whatever it was, ate in his stick. As they were eating in the inside of the stick, they ate until the stick became weak. And then Sulaiman alayhi salam's stick fell. And when he fell, later on when they calculated, they worked out he passed away 1 year ago. That's why the termite eats so much. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala mentioned this in Quran, but in what a manner. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, and when Sulaiman alayhi salam fell, it became apparent to the jinnat that had they known the knowledge of the unseen, they would not have remained working for so long. What message was given is if that jinn could not know Sulaiman alayhi salam passed away, who was right in front of him, that jinn will not know if your sister-in-law is making jadoo because she's in parda. That girl who's in the house, what she's doing, the jinn couldn't pick up. Sulaiman alayhi salam died, he's going to know what she's doing. But when you go to that amil, the first thing the jinn says, it's the sister-in-law. Always the sister. And you say she's dead, it's the mother-in-law. That in-law story, and everyone falls for it. Everyone, you say, strong amil, strong. The amil got no problem, he is strong, the jinn is the problem. The jinn also believes itself. And the amil believes his jinn. Even if the jinn is such a good jinn, that it meets you and he says, me, I met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even such a jinn, we will shake his hand. We will say, jinn sahabi, make dua for me. But when the jinn says, I want to narrate a hadith, we will say to the jinn that you can narrate to me, Shah Waliullah Rahimullah's father met a jinn who explained to him, I'm from the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He compiled the ahadith of that jinn. It came in a book, but that book, whichever libraries got it, put it in one corner which nobody finds it also. Whoever opened it found it's a very old book, not reprinted ever. Why? Because even the ahadith of a jinn who claims to be from the era of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that value of those ahadith is zero. The word of the jinn is never, ever, ever believed. But when man sees top stuff, when man sees power, when man sees one lota coming from the bathroom into the bedroom, something's happened. It's magic. And when magic starts, we lose our iman. But in the past, people went to the merry-go-rounds. In today's time, on the internet, you will see, I invite you into the world of magic. When those boys are playing those computer games, one of their best games is white magic versus black magic. Let me teach you how to make magic. Let us fight the forces of darkness. And as they enter into the world of magic, they pulled in. In the world of magic, what do you think made your musicians so famous? What do you think made so many of your soccer players so famous that when they score the goal, they have to do this? They have to make a sign to show one eye, you are my God. I scored that goal, I became famous in the world, you made me famous, you are my God. Magic brought them up. Magic made a musician who the world never knew, even if she's the ugliest of ugly. But magic made her beloved in the hearts of the world. Justin Bieber came to South Africa. We were driving, trying to get to the madrasa. The roads were closed. We thought there was an accident. One person came to give us, are you also going for the concert? So what concert? Justin Bieber. We never knew his name. Justin Bieber. The next day in the newspaper, the reporters took the report of Muslim aunties just to show the world that even the Muslim auntie is in love with Justin Bieber. That old auntie who can't see properly, she also said, I love him, Lord. There was nothing in him, but he had no look. Magic made an ugly man beloved to an old nanny. Magic. When magic hits, it hits through Kabbalah. It hits through the internet. It hits through come into the world of white magic. It will hit through a man in suit and tie. You will meet him in school, you might meet him in university. I went many years ago to Mauritius. At that time they said to me that in the University of Mauritius, the people come to them and say, do you want to become a Freemason? So they ask the man, what is Freemasonry? So they say that it is that which will make your every dream come alive. Why don't you enter? I met a man who told me I entered. He said, I entered and nothing really bad happened. We used to go for meetings. He said, they brought me up in the world. And a time came where I was living the life of the Lani. I was the richest man. And then they asked me to do things which my iman did not allow. So when I said to them, I can't do this, then they said, then you will lose everything. So I told them, get lost. He said, they got lost, but I lost everything. He became a muezzin in the masjid. So when I went to South Africa, I mentioned this, that in Mauritius they give dawah to become a Freemason. I said, it's not happening here. The next year I met someone who said, I heard this bayan of yours, it's happening in South Africa. He said, I was invited. He said, the whole clique who got the top marks in university, we were invited. This year in South Africa, leaflets were sent out. Now it's not hidden anymore. Leaflets were sent out. We invite you to become a Freemason. Next line, make your every dream realized. And then they got a phone number at the bottom. What is that Freemasonry? We never entered, so I don't want to go into it. It is nothing but magic. When Samiri did his magic, thousands of the Bani Israel got stuck there. Thousands. Just because it was unique, it was powerful, it was something different. The only real pure magic that's in this world is the magic of Quran and Islam. This is magical. That with so many raves, so many clubs, so much of filth, so much of porn, so much of war, so many years, the demand would have been on the surface of the earth. There must not be a single Muslim left. With so much of attraction, the demand would have been that not a single boy must be found coming for a bayan after Isha in the masjid. Magic brought you people here. We are the only living magic in the world, and the Western world cannot understand where we are. We are real magic. Understand our power. They got stuck on Samiri, they couldn't go front. The third went, and this is the last part of our journey. They found a leader, he was called Talut. When you were small, you heard of David and Goliath. Quran has discussed it as Jalut and Talut. They found the king Talut. They said, we are ready to fight. Now we won the promised land. We came so far. But who? First you have to be ready to say, oh Allah, I don't like the way of Ghair Islam. Even if my inside likes it, but my outside will not show it. I will dress like a Muslim, talk like a Muslim, behave like a Muslim. Then I'm walking. Number two, when magic will come in front of me, I'll spit it in the face. And I will say, my magic will destroy your magic. I have a simple stick like Musa alayhi salam. You got the mighty magicians of the world. But when my stick falls on the ground, it will destroy all your magic. I will read one verse of Quran and your jinnat will go running. I got my own magic. I'll spit in your magic. But now when I come to the third, the army of Talut was going. They were a strong army. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, we brought them to water. They were all thirsty. Talut said to his army that do not drink from this water except one sip. Only one sip. Do not drink from the water except one sip. فَمَنْ شَرِبَ مِنْهُ فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. There was nothing wrong with the water. But Allah Tabarak Ta'ala, to select who is going to hold the flag of Islam, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala creates something called an imtihan. When people go for Hajj, in the past they used to go for Hajj. Ihram had what we normally do in our Ihram. You can't put on itar. You can't use soap. There was one more law in Ihram. You can't hunt. So because the man's journey was a journey of 3 months, 4 months, a time comes where you start desiring meat. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala in the Quran spoke about the man going for Hajj. He's the beloved of Allah. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala said, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O people of Iman, لَيَبْلُوَنَّكُمُ اللَّهُ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الصَّيْدِ. Your Allah is going to take your imtihan now. He's going to bring the animal right in front of you. تَنَالُهُ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَرِمَاحُكُمْ. You only have to take out your arrow and shoot and you'll get it. Why your Allah will bring that animal? Allah Tabarak Ta'ala says, because your Allah wants to know who fears Him when there is no one around. Your Allah wants to know. On the last journey we will find that water. It will look so sparkling. We will find thirst. It will be said, whoever is going to drink, he is not of mine. They were allowed to drink one sip, not more than one sip. It would have been so easier if you said no sip. Because then no one can go to the water. He said you can have one sip. Ghurfa, and then stop. He took them right to the water. They lifted up the hand, one. Right at the water, now no one can see you taking the second. So on the edge of the water, Allah Tabarak Ta'ala brought me and you. He brought us before there was a rave club, but we couldn't go because my father would catch me. But then Allah Tabarak Ta'ala brought the rave club to me. He brought it in my pocket. He brought me on the edge of the water. He allowed me to get married. Marriage was called halal. I was supposed to have an understanding what happens when a boy and a girl get together. I was allowed to know what a kiss means, what a hug means. I was allowed to taste. And then I was told, don't take the second sip. That second sip was called the haram sip. It was brought right to me. Had it been closed off, I would have been easier saved. Allah Tabarak Ta'ala brought it to me. Why? Because it was going to be seen who is the army of Hazrat al-Mahdi. Who is the army that will go into the promised land? Who is the army that will get the highest places in paradise? He said, you can't drink. One army got stuck there. Why they got stuck? They never learned this lesson, that when the pretty girl comes in front, تَنَالُهُ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَرِمَاحُكُمْ, your hand can grab her like that. You just need to send one message and she's yours. At that time, your Allah sent her in front. Why? لِيَعْلَمَ اللَّهُ مَن يَخَافُهُ بِالْغَيْبِ. Because your Allah wants to know who really fears Him. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make us, we go past that water also. Whoever passed that water, the mighty army of Jalut came. That small group that reached. People said, how are you going to fight them? They said, Allah will give help. That group will make revolutions in the world after that. But we have to pass three things. Number one, the love of the way of anything besides Islam. Even if it's inside me, I will never give an expression on the outside. Number two, when magic will come in front of me, I'll spit in its face. And number three, when that girl, which is the animal who I would just love to hunt, her meat is tender, her skin is unique, everything she got the walk of a deer. I don't know if you all know what a deer is. When a bear goes hunting, they say hunt the deer. The deer looks like a deer. Its meat is unique, its walk is unique, its jump is unique, everything is unique. When that deer comes in front of me, I will say, Ma Allah, you brought it so close because you wanted to take my imtihan. That time say no. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make us, we hit all three. That time you will see such divine aid coming, you will open up doors for the world. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala make it reality for all of us. May Allah Tabarak Ta'ala grant us all protection of our eye, protection of our mind, protection of our heart.